Hello and welcome Universe Mode. This is ECW. It's the show of the week once more, and it's another great night of ECW action, as it always is, to be fair. But nevertheless, we are here for this for this night. We are here just over a week away from WrestleMania, and we are here for a face-off and a stare-down between the two men who will meet at WrestleMania. Yes, you know it to be true. Tonight here in this very ring, Seth Rollins and AJ Styles will meet face to face with one another before their clash at WrestleMania. It's going to be a very interesting affair between those two as we look to close out the night here on ECW. There will be no main event match. I will say that right now as a little bit of a disappointment for you all maybe. There is no main event match. This is our main event. It is going to be Rollins and Styles face to face, a week off from action, as they talk to one another, as they try and play the mind games with one another before WrestleMania. How will it pan out? We will find out later on tonight. It's going to be a good night of ECW action nevertheless. We've still got 4 very entertaining matches on their way for you. I'm looking forward to delivering each and every one. We're going to start things off with a very interesting tag team matchup put forth by the Wyatt family and demanded through the, should we say, persuasive actions of Braun Strowman. We're going to have a tag team matchup where the Usos are going up against the team of Tetsuya Naito and Aleister Black. Also, as a quick word of warning, as the show gets underway, do not expect over-the-top reactions as usual from me. Sadly, on the build-up to this grand stage of this WrestleMania, I've somehow managed to get sick, but that does not take me away from doing my job. It never would. Cannot abandon doing this show, the A show, of course, for a pesky little illness. We are ready anyway. Kick off ECW with this tag team matchup. Yeah, I know it's a very weird matchup to see. I know it's a very unusual matchup, and you might be thinking, why did I go ahead with it? Why didn't I just say, no, you can't have this match? Do you want to be the one to say to Braun Strowman, no, you can't have that? Exactly. So with that being said, it's going ahead. Otherwise, my head would be going through a desk right now. So I'll pass on that. Anyway, Aleister Black comes towards the ring here. He witnessed Tetsuya Naito be beaten apart and dismantled last week by Braun Strowman, and he seemed very happy about it. And then was caught up in some shenanigans with DIY in the tag team side of things later on that night, actually just after that matchup to be fair, but that is beside the point. That is involving something else going on. That is not involving the ECW Television Championship, which will of course be defended at WrestleMania. Looking forward to seeing how this one goes. Naito and Black have been playing back and forth mind games with each other since the very moment that they started getting at each other's throats. And from that WrestleMania match being signed, the getting at each other's throats continued on even further. The mind games amped up, and I still believe that it is Tetsuya Naito winning in the mind games. Even though Aleister Black may not want you to believe that to be the case, I think the greatest bit of mind games that have been played so far was Tetsuya Naito pulling off the Wyatt family's graphic, or whatever you want to call it, and making his way into the ring to hit Destino on Aleister Black now 2 weeks ago, I believe. I almost said 2 years ago then. But anyway, here comes Naito towards the ring. He is ready for this one, and he looks to be in good shape as well. Despite that beating last week where his back was just honed in upon by Braun Strowman, it seems as if Naito has not let that get to him so far. And he's looking to, perhaps maybe he's trying to show a sign of confidence. Maybe Naito does have a nagging injury down there that he doesn't want Aleister Black to know in this tag team matchup. What I want to know in this matchup is, what the hell are they going to do to try and play mind games with each other? They both want to win, of course. They both always are hungry for victory. But they are WrestleMania opponents. What is in the mindset of... what is in the mindset of Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman? Well, Bray Wyatt mostly, who coined this idea. What is going through his mind when it comes to this idea for them to get something out of it? What is their MO here, really? What do they want from the end of it all? I don't know. I'm interested by it. And you see them standing in the ring there. They know they've got to work together as much as they don't want to, and they're not paying each other much state of attention at all as the Usos get ready to make their way towards the ring here for this one. The Usos, of course, who might not be #1 contenders, can still be next in line for the tag titles after WrestleMania. It all depends. Maybe the Wyatt family have first crack, given their victory over Authors of Pain last week. It all depends. We are not too sure where the tag team situation goes. You know, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves and assume who the next #1 contender is going to be when we haven't even gone through this #1 contender in DIY yet. They will, of course, face the Authors of Pain at WrestleMania, and part of them will meet in the ring here tonight. I believe it's Akam and Johnny Gargano going one-on-one against one another later on in this show. You see the Usos there. They might be in the ring with the #1 contender and the ECW television champion. But they're not. They don't seem to care about that. They seem just fine. They're focused in their own minds. Naito going to start this one off against Jimmy Uso, and Aleister Black tagging himself in there already, causing some scenes between the two as we get things started here on ECW. And Jimmy Uso will look to go straight to work, it seems, on Aleister Black here. They share the ring with the television champion. They've got to do something quickly. Oh, into the back of the leg there of Aleister Black. Quite a smart idea, as now Jey Uso looks to go after it. This is quite quick from the Usos thus far. Certainly one thing that I don't think Aleister Black was expecting. You see Naito on the outside there just watching on. And now Naito in turn will tag himself. And oh, Aleister Black clocked Naito. Black clocked Naito and went on his way there, leaving him to the hounds. He has gone on his way here now, has Aleister Black. And Naito has all of a sudden been left all alone to the machine that is the Usos. The #1 contender to the TV champion. He's not at 100%, of course. His back, we are assuming, is still injured from that beatdown by Braun Strowman. And now he has been left alone in the ring by Aleister Black. He didn't wait to spring his trap. He just pulled the cord right away and allowed the trap to play itself. Naito tried to return some mind games on Black, just showed that he wasn't interested, and just clocked him in the face and has gone on his way. Naito now is in trouble here. That shot from Aleister Black seemed to daze him big time. And Naito hasn't recovered since. These shots here on wailing away there. Naito though able to fight back. German suplex now to Jimmy Uso. Oh, he's still showing some signs of confidence here. But oh, he's in the ring with the Usos. Doesn't matter to Naito about the Aleister Black bit right now. He's still got to focus on the fact he's in the ring with the Usos here. Russian leg sweep now. Naito's own confidence there did him wrong. And these shots again. Wailing away to Naito. Oh, super kick. And now Naito's back goes careening into that ring post, but he's still fighting on there. Nice neckbreaker counter by Tetsuya Naito, but how much longer can he afford to keep fighting in this one here? How much does he risk injuring himself ahead of WrestleMania is the question. How much torture can that back take? Naito, look at that. Snap German suplex though to Jimmy Uso. He does not look happy. Tranquilo may well have been sabotaged here in this ring by Aleister Black there, and as a result of it, Naito is starting to get more vicious. And the Usos are the one paying the price for it. Into the turnbuckle again goes Jey Uso, but this time he countered it, and a hard DDT to drive Naito into the mat. And the Usos are looking for victory, it seems. Brings him down with a slam. The Uso splash incoming. Nails it on Naito. If the back wasn't the only thing targeted by Braun Strowman, the ribs were as well. And oh, Naito still kicks out. Aleister Black and the Wyatt family must be watching on backstage, either grinning at what they're seeing or wincing at it, because Naito is continuing to fight on here and cause troubles for them. They were hoping this match would be sealed by now, but the more the Naito fights on, the more damage he does to himself as well. Jey Uso now rolls up Naito, but his hand underneath the ropes there. Irish whip now off the ropes. Comes Naito right into that forearm shot. As the Usos can tag in and out of this one, Naito is left all alone to the punishment of the brothers. But he's still going here. Oh, look at those knees in the back now by Naito. His anger knows no boundaries, it seems. The anger for Aleister Black certainly doesn't have any boundaries. Back suplex. Oh, Jey Uso flipped out of it. Rolls up Naito again, but his hands were balanced on those ropes quite assuredly. Elbow in the back of the head. Clocked, though. But he's still able to fight back almost right away, but clocked again there by Jimmy Uso. Headbutt there to Naito. And now look where they go. They go to the back there. That bomb there may well have dropped him on his arse, but certainly it goes after the back, and the Usos are going after the back now. It's ain't even for their own gain. This aids Aleister Black way more than against the Usos. They continue to work on the back. They make that title defense even easier for Aleister Black. And takeover atomic drop there. Naito looks to be in huge trouble right now. Uh-oh, what is Jey Uso going to do here now? Naito's almost out of it. Jey Uso. Paradise lock applied here. On Naito. The arm and the leg trapped of Tetsuya Naito. The back being hooked way up in the air as well. But Naito will never give in. He will not allow himself to submit. And again here, though, they go after the back for an advantage. And think about this. If they go after the back, not only, of course, are they assisting themselves in this matchup, but they assist Aleister Black, and they take away Destino. And they may well have taken away Aleister Black's hopes of winning, of Tetsuya Naito's hopes of winning this match. There is the Uso splash again. And as the Usos stand in the ring, Naito kicks out again. And now a knee dug right in the back of Naito. Pulling on the neck here. Pulling on the jawline of Tetsuya Naito. They want him to submit, but Naito is refusing to against a team even as tough as the Usos here. Super kick into the ribs. And oh, an uppercut that followed after it. How much more is Naito willing to give here? How much more is his back willing to give in this one? That is my biggest concern in this one, is that Naito could have just taken a safe loss here and moved on. But his decision to continue fighting here is doing drastic measures to his back. Is Aleister Black watching this with a big smile on his face, or is he watching this right now, wondering how the Usos haven't managed to put away Tetsuya Naito yet? Jimmy moves out of the way, rolls up Naito now, hoping this is enough. There's the cover, there's the count, and Naito still kicking out early on there. Oh, from behind though, I think he caught him in the back with that drop kick. And he didn't catch him in the jaw though with that super kick. Naito from behind again with knees in the back. How much more do they have to give you to try and put away Naito? Naito in position in the ring. He's looking for Destino to Jimmy Uso. Jey Uso making the run in here, trying to save his brother. That hasn't worked. Destino! Cover that follows. Broken up there. Naito looking for another one. Oh, from behind with a chair shot. Into the back of Tetsuya Naito. The Usos couldn't be bothered hanging there anymore. Now they're just taking it to Naito. Who knows why the Usos just did that? Maybe it's just their lack of care that showed it there. Maybe they just wanted to hurt him. More questions than answers from the Usos, but one thing is for certain. If Naito's back wasn't hurting already, it was certainly be hurting after that. He hit Destino, which I was surprised with, but after it, he was just wailed in on by a chair, courtesy of Jey Uso. And all the punishment he took in that matchup, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of Naito's WrestleMania chances right now. Aleister Black kept himself to himself in that one. Got out of there as quickly as he could. And pretty much had a safe week for him. Naito, on the other hand, not so much. The mind games continue on there. That was not really much more of a mind game, though, than what it was just something that you could almost expect to happen. And it certainly did happen indeed. There's not really that much that I can say about it. It happened, and we have to move on. I hope Naito will be alright. You know, the more that back gets beaten up, the more I worry for Naito's chances of WrestleMania. But this guy keeps on insisting that he wants to fight week in and week out. I don't know how wise of a decision that is, and I don't want it to cost him his match at WrestleMania. But we're going to move on from that now and focus on this match here. A cruiserweight matchup coming up first here. We have Zack Sabre Jr. heading towards the ring. The number one contender, the man who will meet Austin Aries next week for the Cruiserweight Championship, squaring off against Jack Gallagher here. Two British men going at it one-on-one. Sabre Jr., of course, is looking to try and take the Cruiserweight title away from Austin Aries, and he's got a bit of an advantage given the fact that Aries was laid out last week by his fellow British Empire member in Neville. Very happy times indeed for him. Zack Sabre Jr. certainly seemed glad about what happened. And Austin Aries, as a result of it, is not here tonight. He was beaten down. He was inflicted, you know, we saw it last week. He was pummeled backstage, super kicked into a locker room. And Aries, as a result, not here tonight. And it's not going to be the case of, as we saw on SmackDown Live with Okada coming out at the last moment to make the save. He really isn't here tonight. But Zack Sabre Jr. is, as he looks to try and become Cruiserweight Champion here. And he goes up against Jack Gallagher here one-on-one. Let's see what these two men will do in their quest to try and get victory here. Let's see what Zack Sabre Jr. plans on doing to try and become Cruiserweight Champion next week. I gotta give credit to Sabre Jr. He's been looking tougher, he's been looking fresher, he's been looking a lot more of a fighter, really, since him and Neville joined sides with one another. Neville really been bringing out the best of Zack Sabre Jr. as of late. Look at this now. Sabre Jr. going after the arm early of Jack Gallagher. Look for a Kimura lock there, but in the ropes was Gallagher, so Sabre Jr. had to leave it go, but he is honing in on that arm right now. Early cover. Kick out very early on, but Sabre Jr. doesn't seem to care too much about it. Side headlock now. And just for the sake of it, a punch thrown in there for good measure. Wrenching on this headlock tightly. Sabre Jr. lets it go there. And allows Gallagher to spring right back up to his feet. See what more Sabre Jr. will do here. Dragon screw there, but that's not what he needs to be honing in on. This is, of course, what he needs to be going after. And he does so just like that, going after the arm. Big nasty kick in the back there. Sabre Jr. looking to inflict as much punishment on the arm as possible for that cross armbar victory. Great crucifix, though, by Jack Gallagher, who now locks in a chin lock here. Gallagher could pick up a late win over the #1 contender for the Cruiserweight title. It could mean great things for him coming out of WrestleMania. You just gotta hope that that'll be the case. Oh, what a drop kick though by Sabre Jr. You see, he's quite tall for a Cruiserweight, but he's very lean as well. He keeps himself in that pristine shape of his so that every move he can ever inflict will be done at the hell is Gallagher doing? You're managing to stop him repeatedly. Look at that. Flips out of it. Taken down. What a counter there by Gallagher. Very intriguing to see it there, but Sabre Jr. right now not too welcoming of the taunting there. German suplex, and it looked like he dropped him right on his arm as well, to be specific about it. And Sabre Jr. there just ditching the work on the arm there in turn of a just simple but effective few boots in the face for his troubles. Alright, that looked interesting. Jack Gallagher feeling the full effect here of this beat down thus far, and here goes Zack Sabre Jr. now the cross armbar, but Gallagher was able to stretch his legs to the ropes. Quick counter by Gallagher here now. Can he get a fight back going on? Moves out of the way, ducks under. Oh, here go the hard kicks there to the leg by Sabre Jr. What more does Zack Sabre Jr. want to do to his opponent here? He is ripping at that arm of Jack Gallagher repeatedly. Starting to get a little bit worrying how much he's working on it, but he might not even look for the cross armbar submission here. He may look to choke out Jack Gallagher. Guillotine lock applied now. Legs wrapped around him like an anaconda here, and Gallagher with no choice but to tap out. Could that be the fate of Austin Aries next week? Has Jack Gallagher done all he needs, as Sabre Jr. done all he needs to ensure a submission victory ahead of next week? It may seem to be the case, but Austin Aries is going to continue to fight. As Sabre Jr. revels in his victory right now, though, he ain't finished. He is demanding a microphone. And Zack Sabre Jr. With some very flowery language, shall we say, letting Austin Aries, the dickhead, know that he's going to tap him out next week. He's going to make an embarrassment out of him. He's going to do it all for the British Empire, and he's going to show that they reign supreme. Austin Aries, 3 words: just tap out. Man, Sabre Jr. gone from a quiet, reserved, technical wrestler now to complete, well, not charisma, but an ego and a very... he's thinking very highly of himself heading into this title match next week, and with everything that's been going on for him, he kind of has a reason for it. So as Zack Sabre Jr. revels in his ability and his belief that he'll be a Cruiserweight champion next week, we'll just have to see how that one turns out, but we know that this tag team matchup here at WrestleMania, certainly the favourites are still the champions. Even after last week and DIY's little mind games of their own, Paul Ellering, if that had taught him anything, it had taught him to continue writing the chapter, to really hone in on closing the book of DIY at WrestleMania. And you see the expression upon Ellering's face. He seems ready for his Authors of Pain, or more specifically here, Akam, who will be taking on Johnny Gargano, to destroy in this matchup here tonight and just make it an affair that is going to be an ugly one. Make it an affair that Johnny Gargano will have been wishing that they didn't pull off what they did last week, because they are, well, more specifically Johnny Gargano is going to find out that WrestleMania is not their night. And of course at WrestleMania, Paul Ellering's writings will be put on a full stage for everyone to witness as he writes the last chapter, as the Authors of Pain will truly close that book and continue writing their story as the ECW Tag Team Champions. Know one thing for certain though, Akam, I think, is going to really look to hurt Johnny Gargano here tonight. I think after last week and after the mind games that were played, I think Paul Ellering has gone to Akam and just said, you've been given Gargano, hurt him. Do I feel bad for putting this match on? In a way, yes. But if DIY want to play these mind games, if they want to put their money where their mouth is, then they've got to be willing to fight. They wanted these title matches. They wanted to become #1 contender. Now it's time to put up or shut up. I know they're the underdogs, and in a way I do want them to win, just for that great underdog story. But at the same time, they've got to be aware that I'm not going to let it be an easy road for them. Under no way will I let it be an easy road for them. If they want to be victorious, they have got to go through every road imaginable. I'm not letting this be a very easy path for them to go down. And with that being said, Gargano here looks alright. He looks ready. No nerves being shown from DIY here as they prepare for this matchup. Tomasso Ciampa will of course be at ringside, but so too will Rezar and Paul Ellering. But I wonder if Ciampa will do anything in this one. I wonder if Ciampa will have to force himself to intervene, or if he will stay at ringside. You see there Ellering standing on, watching as Rezar just stares in the corner. Gargano here coming out of the gate swinging at Akam. Not too sure how much of a good idea that is against a hard head like the one he has. STO drop for you there right from the get-go. And look at the strength now. Being possessed there by Akam on Gargano. This is what Paul Ellering will want to see. This is what Tomasso Ciampa will dread to see. Something like this going on. So close to WrestleMania. Certainly helps one party and hinders the other. Jawbreaker there now by Johnny Gargano, though. He is still trying to fight back here. Doesn't matter to Gargano how much of an underdog he is. He will go on. He will keep going until his last breath says so. Double foot stomp there in the gut there, and the kick keeps Akam down. Gargano is still going 100 miles an hour here. He's treating this like it is the WrestleMania matchup. Cover on Akam there, gets an early 1 count, and nothing more really. Look at this lock though by Johnny Gargano. Incredible that he could get it on someone of Akam's size, but couldn't hold on to it there. Akam just too much for him. Punch in the gut and heaved over there with a hip toss. Oh, what a kick in the back as well. And now here goes Akam again. Able to use his power here to work over Gargano. There's a Russian leg sweep. Ellering, you see him there telling him to stay on his man. Gargano could be out here as a result of the incoming powerbomb. Gargano flips out of it, rolls up Akam here. Sunset flip, can it put away Akam? No, 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 it won't. And the strikes though keep going by Johnny Wrestling. Ellering stands next to Rezar there, and he looks a little bit taken aback maybe that Gargano has hung in here for so long. Oh no, this is bad. This is, oh! Huge clubbering blow in the back of the head there. Way into the mat even. Kick out early though by Gargano, but how much does this really do for him? It's the same as we saw with Naito earlier. The longer he stays in this, the bigger of a beatdown he is taking. But Gargano does not know the meaning of the word quit as he keeps going here. Out on the apron now, Gargano flies back in. Oh, but Paul Ellering looking to get himself involved now. Ellering looking to provide a distraction here. Gargano getting in the face of the manager of the Authors of Pain. And walks right into this vice grip here by Akam. Gargano faded as a result of it. What is Akam going to do? No. Oh, my God. No. Gargano, please move. Oh, God. A huge splash there. And that could do it. There's the count. Johnny Wrestling still kicking out, though. But there's no response there. There was no life by Gargano after that kick out. There is still a lot of life and a lot of fight in Akam. That vice grip may well have put Gargano out. Because he doesn't look to be putting up much of a fight after this. Oh, stun gun there into the ropes. Snake eyes into the ropes. Whatever you want to call it, Gargano. His lights seem to be fading and fading fast. Here comes that Russian leg sweep again. And it looked for a moment as if Gargano's eyes rolled into the back of his head after that Russian leg sweep. Ciampa can only watch on for so long. I can only watch on for so long. The Authors of Pain could watch on all day if they wanted to, but it seems as if this will be it. Oh, what is he? Oh, God! The speed of which he hit that powerbomb was almost a whiplash effect. Cover on Gargano. It's over. Akam, your winner, and the Authors of Pain are quick to celebrate it. Well, there you have it. Akam is your winner, but at what cause for Johnny Gargano? At what cause for DIY heading into WrestleMania as Ciampa checks on his fallen partner? Akam from behind with a chair. Rezar's coming with a chair. Paul Ellering directing traffic as the Authors of Pain blast away at DIY. There was no need for any of that. Well, Tomasso Ciampa, I thought that it was over. I thought that he could check on his friend and his tag team partner there, but not to be the case. And are we really surprised that Paul Ellering would let it stop there? That was a physical way of enacting revenge for their defeat last week. The chair shots rain into DIY, and it is looking rough heading into next week. That's for certain. Well, we got to move on to our next contest. It's been a very somber night here on ECW, that's for certain. The Naito and Aleister Black at the start, the chair shots to Naito as well, and now the chair shots to DIY. It has certainly been a night that has not been one to just be happy about, I guess. Been a rather depressing one, but we're going to kick things up here. We're going to kick things up a notch. Triple threat matchup coming up here. Neville, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Roode in this triple threat. All three men looking for a victory to build some momentum for them coming out of WrestleMania. To build something for them going forth here. Of course, Neville last week went up against the ECW champion Seth Rollins. Put up a great fight against him. I will give him credit where credit is due. But of course, he wasn't enough for Seth Rollins. That being said, however, Neville still way up there in the ECW title contention, I gotta say, after his recent performances. That one 2 weeks ago against AJ Styles is still standing out in the memory. Comes a man who, of course, was wanted to be ECW champion, and then decided, I'm going to walk out on ECW, shoot myself in the foot, and then get eliminated at a moment in the match which no one remembers. So that being said, Drew McIntyre heads towards the ring here, and he looks ready for this triple threat as well. I will say what I will say about Drew McIntyre. I'm not the biggest fan of him. Don't respect him. Don't care what he thinks about ECW. He's not Seth Rollins. But he is good in that ring. He's showing it in his very first pay-per-view match for ECW, in that great battle he had with Sami Callihan to determine the #1 contender for the ECW Championship. Both men gave each other all that they could, really. That was McIntyre's big win and assumed to be huge awakening, really, since being traded to ECW, but it was not the case. Instead, it just didn't happen. Let's be honest, it was not what happened. It was not to be for Drew McIntyre, as more parties ended up getting involved, and it ended up becoming a fatal four-way. Now, though, McIntyre looks to see forward for his future and see where he goes coming out of WrestleMania. Since, as I said on Raw, I think it might have been, that the entire card was set for WrestleMania. Now all 10 matches signed, sealed, and delivered, and we just await them to begin. Here comes a man, though, who doesn't really matter, doesn't really mind or matter to him wherever he is, so long as he's getting a glorious reception. And even though it would have been a great entrance to see at WrestleMania, it will not be happening. Bobby Roode last week was defeated by AJ Styles, but still looking to bounce himself back here and keep going in this one. I don't think there'll be any temporary alliances in this triple threat match. All three guys in their own way kind of very selfish, very egotistical. Bobby Roode, of course, goes around calling himself the Glorious One and soaks in the reaction he's getting here in Massachusetts, with the crowd sing along to his theme, as they always do wherever we go. Drew McIntyre, a man who was, I mean, you know, I don't know where he lies, really. One moment he seems to be caring for the fans, the next moment he doesn't really seem to give a shit. So it's tough to tell where he lies on the fence of it all, but Neville certainly only about the British Empire, and even to some extent only about himself. Just has Zack Sabre Jr. there to assist his back, as Roode makes his way towards the ring, though. Listening to this crowd here singing along to this theme just shows that Bobby Roode can go away for a period of time, come back, and still be one of the crowd favourites here on ECW, despite the way in which he goes around acting, despite the ways in which he thinks about himself. Very, very interesting indeed. I like it, I gotta say. I do like hearing the people singing along to Roode's theme. With that being said, how much can the singing of this crowd help on Bobby Roode towards a victory here? Roode might be keeping a close eye on the ECW Television Championship coming out of WrestleMania. He might want another shot at that belt. And if there's a new champion in town in Tetsuya Naito, he might want a shot at him as well. It'll just all depend on what happens there. Who knows, if Roode does really well in this matchup, he may want to keep his eyes on the ECW title scenario. He's already had his battles with Seth Rollins in the past, but maybe he wants to have another one. May well be the case. As Roode here parades around and prepares for this one. You saw the reaction there from Drew McIntyre on the outside. He shook his head there. He doesn't like the way in which Roode acts. And as Roode soaks in the full reaction from the Massachusetts crowd, the sing-alongs, he prepares for this triple threat mentally and physically. Roode and McIntyre in some ways certainly the favourites when you look at them from a physical stance. May well be McIntyre is taller maybe than Roode and stronger than him as well. I think he might be. Yes, he certainly is. Let's see where we go from the start here. McIntyre looking to go after Neville here. Roode looking to go after McIntyre. Neville looking to keep himself to himself early on and just get out of that ring for a moment. Neville knows he is, of course, giving up a lot in this ring. But this was why Neville wanted to move up to the big stages. He wanted to prove everyone that he could pull off something like this. It seems that from the get-go here, they're picking on Bobby Roode early on. Oh, double foot stomps into the eyes there. Neville, seeing McIntyre in the corner there, getting a little bit cocky and wasn't too fond of it. Look at the strength now by Neville. God, McIntyre must be about 70 pounds heavier than him, and he was able to pull that off. Oh, what an elbow, though, to Neville by Bobby Roode. Neville quickly rolling away there to give himself some breathing room from the Glorious One. Suplex on its way, maybe. Neville watching closely. And yes, indeed, suplex there by Bobby Roode, and McIntyre will roll out of the ring. Neville now along with Bobby Roode. Let's see what the King of the Cruiserweights will do as he goes up high. Shooting star press by Neville. Could do one of those in his sleep. And could still execute it probably better than anyone who's ever done it. Look at these shots now, though, by Neville. Forearms raining into Bobby Roode. And oh, McIntyre. Lutez pressing right into Roode. Leaving Neville go for only a moment. Holy shit! Neville went flying. Jesus Christ. Oh, Neville was going to go over the turnbuckle there. McIntyre showing his huge strength there. Wrenched on the neck of Neville, who now retreats to the outside. Roode and McIntyre continuing to go at it here. Let's see what else is in store for this one. Roode up on that second rope. Splash into the back there. Neville taking his sweet time. I think that belly to belly may well have phased Neville a little bit. It was a huge move. Back in the ring he gets, though, and... Excuse me! Roode with a knee tuck in the back there of the head of Drew McIntyre, and oh, Neville flew some ways, staggered Roode, and sends him over the top rope. Neville now. Neville's going to go up high here. Is this going to pay off the way he wants it to? Roode stunned on the outside. Neville, Hurricanrana, not even a Hurricanrana, just launched himself at Roode on the outside there. Both men hit the outside hard. Both men recovering on the outside as well. What a foot stomp. Forearm denied there, though. Neville looked for a cheap shot, missed it, and almost collided with the ring apron there. Drew McIntyre right now somehow has found control over both men here. Oh, Neville, you are in big trouble, man. Neville's in huge trouble here. This is going to hurt. Oh, into the ring pole and then dumped onto the floor. Neville, though, finds his counter and denies Bobby Roode a chance to have a little bit of a glorious moment with the crowd. Sent him into the announce table not once, but seemingly twice here. It is breaking apart on the outside. Things starting to get far more aggressive between these three men as we return into the ring here, though. Neville now starting to stomp away there. This is still anyone's match, really. Into the turnbuckle goes Neville face first. Oh, McIntyre making a save. Nope, he just wants a piece of Neville as well. What the hell's going on here now? Everyone going after everyone. Roode countered there. Not countered, stopped there. Forearm shot there by Neville to McIntyre. Forearm shot to Roode as well. Neville standing tall. McIntyre moves out of the way, however. Oh, the headbutt to Neville. Signature headbutt of Drew McIntyre's. And look at how easy he executes this gut-wrench suplex now. Or gut-wrench powerbomb, rather, might be the better phrase for it. Roode is still staggering around. Cover on Neville here. But that is the ability of Neville there, able to kick out that early. And again, keep fighting here against Drew McIntyre. Roode watching on. No, he's not. He's now taken to the turnbuckle to have a little bit of a time with his... Oh, with his glorious fans. What a move there by McIntyre. That sent Neville on his way. And now McIntyre could well have Roode right where he wants him, maybe. Victory could be on its way after that back suplex. Roode kicks at it too. Uh-oh, I think I know what McIntyre may have in mind, though. He may be thinking Claymore kick. He may be thinking a big move here. But Neville gets himself involved. Springboard drop kick there. Saved Roode, but denied himself a chance to capitalize and pick up an easy win, maybe. Uppercut now. Roode retreats to the outside. Look at the strength there by Neville to hit that. Absolutely incredible. Is Neville going to go to the top rope here? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Is he thinking Red Arrow? Yes, he is. Red Arrow to McIntyre. Cover after it. There's two, and McIntyre kicked out. Roode picking up the pieces here, though. Neville may well have drained himself. Have a full Nelson bomb for you there. Rolls to the outside. Looks to steal the cover here on McIntyre, who's still kicking out, however. Big shot in the side of the head there, and McIntyre really needs to get something going here. He's looking in Treacherous shape after that red arrow. Cover, count, kick out. But he ain't doing anything. He's just stuck there right now. Taking these shots. Uh-oh. Like that spine buster there by Bobby Roode. Neville, though, right from behind. A reverse DDT to Roode. That was smart. Look at that by Neville. Standing. Corkscrew moonsault. McIntyre counters. Up on the shoulders now. Neville counters in return. Tilt-a-whirl DDT there to McIntyre, who decides to roll out of the ring. Creates some separation once again as Roode and Neville here square off with each other once more. Drags him into the middle of the ring now, and look at this by Neville, just reiterating here these strikes into Roode. No remorse being shown now by the King of the Cruiserweights. And as Neville and Roode now collide in the ring, Neville putting the beating on Roode here. McIntyre back in, staring down with Neville face to face here. These two men, are they going to go at it here or what? No, McIntyre just turned his back on Neville and blasted Roode. What was that all about? This is turning into a beatdown now. This is... Oh no. Oh no. It's just hit me. I think it's just hit me what this is. This isn't just a temporary alliance. I think Drew McIntyre just joined the British Empire. I think he just showed where his allegiances lie. It's not with ECW. It's not even with himself. It's with Neville and Zack Sabre Jr. This is what they wanted all along, was a huge piece like a Drew McIntyre. Roode is still trying to fight back here. Roode is still trying to keep going for himself. The glorious one continuing to try here. But for what cause and for what purpose is he sent flying across the ring there by McIntyre now? If you need further proof of my point, then I don't even know where to guide you. They're not attacking each other. They're watching on as they tear this man apart. McIntyre pulls him into position. Red arrow by Neville. 1, 2. He kicks out. But for what purpose? What purpose does he kick out for? For the cause of a further beatdown now by these two men. McIntyre with a headbutt. And as Neville stands back and watches here, McIntyre will apply the finishing piece. Future Shock DDT. This just happened, and no one can do anything to stop it. The dangerous... the British Empire just grew to 3. And there is your winner. Neville is the victor. And they are celebrating with each other. I don't know what to say. But that just happened. We just saw it happen here on ECW. I don't know what to say. Drew McIntyre just... If there was anyone left for him to stab in the back, he just stabbed that final person. Drew McIntyre joins the British Empire. They are now 3. Neville, Sabre Jr. and McIntyre at the expense of Bobby Roode and ECW. I don't know where this goes from here, but I know we can't just sit by and let it happen. I know that ECW will want to fire back. I know that guys like Bobby Roode, especially Roode, will want to fire back. This one just became a very, very weird place. And as the The British Empire walk up the ramp now, laughing and celebrating with one another. We've got to move on, because there's going to be no laughing and celebrating in a few minutes. Coming up next, it's the meeting of the two men who will face each other at WrestleMania. It's the meeting of the ECW Championship match at WrestleMania. Champion AJ Styles, challenger... how did I fucking just say Champion AJ Styles? I am disgusted with myself. Champion Seth Rollins. Challenger, failure, AJ Styles in the ring. Up next. And here he is. Seth Rollins comes towards the ring for the meet down, for the stare down with AJ Styles. Rollins heads out first. And after last week, even though he left with his head held high, Seth Rollins still seemed a little bit unhappy. That has almost turned into a smirk as he entered the ring. Maybe Seth Rollins is trying to play mind games with everyone. And Rollins is already saying that as much as he loves to brag and talk, he really can't be bothered with this one. He knows why we're all out here. Why wait any longer? Rollins states that anything he says now to these peons in the crowd is not worth his time. Anything that he says in his eyes will just be empty threats. He wants to talk to the man himself. He wants to talk to his opponent. He wants to talk to that coward face to face. AJ Styles, get out. And it didn't take much persuasion for that one. Here comes the #1 contender, the WrestleMania opponent of the ECW champion. AJ Styles heads towards the ring here. Styles beat Neville 2 weeks ago to become the #1 contender. And last week fell foul of a great bit of tactical work from Seth Rollins as he laid on the floor following a lariat. Just a lariat. And AJ Styles, very quick here. You've got me out here. Are you going to cheap shot me again, or are you going to say some words? Are you going to finally say something from that stupid mouth of yours? Excuse you, AJ Styles. That mouth of Seth Rollins has made more money for ECW than you've ever made in your life. And Rollins wants to remind AJ Styles that sneak attacks or not, let's be honest, we all know why we're both standing across from each other. It's WrestleMania, and you know, as well as Seth Rollins knows, as well as everyone in ECW knows, you only got on the coattails of Seth Rollins. AJ Styles is quick to disagree, believing he got to WrestleMania because of himself, because of his ability, and most importantly, oh here we go, because of the fans. Sucking up to them is going to get you nowhere, AJ Styles. Seth Rollins tried and failed, and look what happened. He's the greatest of all time. Apply cold water to burned area, because Seth Rollins just jumped in there with that one. How many times has these fans helped you win the ECW Championship? How many times have these fans helped you beat me when it mattered? The answer is 0. Look at One Night Stand. Look at the Royal Rumble. And all AJ Styles can say is that was the past, and we look to the future. We look to over a week from now at WrestleMania. Seth Rollins, you can claim it to be your place wherever you want, but AJ Styles is taking you out of that house and rebuilding it to something phenomenal. Seth Rollins reminds AJ Styles that that house that Seth Rollins built with his own hands was redesigned, rebuilt, and reclaimed by him. If you think any rebuilding is going to be done, it's going to be Seth Rollins to AJ Styles' face when it's impounded into the canvas with a curb stomp. We can run our mouths all we want, or we can fight like men. Seth Rollins knows he's the better man, he's the better fighter, he is better than AJ Styles in every way possible. The only thing phenomenal about AJ Styles is his ability to choke everything away. AJ continues to run his mouth here. The only thing that'll be phenomenal is the reaction from the crowd when the 1, 2, 3 comes down and AJ Styles' arm is raised as the ECW champion. That's not what AJ Styles thinks. That's what the crowd knows. And there you have it, the stare off between these two. Not so fast. Another lariat for your troubles, AJ Styles. Oh, and Rollins is looking for it now. Kicking the... What? What do you mean no? What do you mean? No, 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 this ain't happening. No, this was supposed to... What are you doing? Rollins, what are you doing? Rollins, no. Rollins, get up. Get up, do something. Rollins, please do something. Get up, fight back. This wasn't supposed to be the plan. No, phenomenal forearm. Get it off the air. Get it off the air now.